What is up, YouTube land? I know it's been a while, sorry. Been busy with everything.
Life's been rad.
Yeah. Life's been rad. Okay. Yeah, it's almost October, which means we have
It is the day before Echoes of Wisdom comes out.
Oh baby. See, I have like I'm interested to see what Echoes of Wisdom does, like how it does, but right now I'm completely in Silent Hill 2 mode. Even though it's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah, I'm not playing that game. I'm gonna watch Spencer play that Slogfest.
We're doing that day one. I'm telling Ash that like the day I get home with it after work. I think it comes out on a Tuesday, so I think it'll be a Monday night. We're doing it. I guess the first like 30, 45 minutes or hour or whatever of it. We're doing it.
All right, so last time I was trying to get this heart piece, but I didn't understand my notes because whenever I play this game, or whenever I play any game, I always write like brief notes. I'm like, I'll surely remember what I mean later, and then I don't because Brosman memory is trash. But I was on the right spot, but what I had to do was go in the cave and then drop down all the way.
Okay.
It's been a while, so Spencer probably doesn't remember it all.
I remember you were having trouble with the one heart piece, yeah. Ooh, look at that! And it has the same noise. Remember Nostalgia?
Yeah, this game is very, lifts a lot from Liquid Past.
It's not a bad thing.
No. I mean, it's like probably the objective best game in the series. Although my favorite's Majora's Mask.
My favorite is Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening is also very good.
I want to say my favorite is, like, every time I'm like, I know in my heart that Oracle of Ages and Seasons are technically better in almost every way than Link's Awakening. But Link's Awakening, the fact that it doesn't have as much padding stuff, makes me like it more. That's just me, and that's after coming. I'm still snake bitten from FF7 Rebirth and the 45 trillion hours of it.
Yeah, the Oracle games are good, but like you have to kind of view them as like one big game,
right? More
than like two separate ones, and like it's daunting. Like you just want to do everything, but then it's like, oh man, these games are just so big,
right? And especially for like that. That's probably one of my favorite things in video games. And you guys, if you've watched any of the Let's Tries that we've done, you've definitely heard me talk about it. But one of my favorite things is when a developer pushes a system to its absolute max. And I think Oracle of Ages and Seasons is really nearing there for the Game Boy Color. Yeah, graphically, I mean, it's not like 3D or anything like that, but like the amount of stuff they fit on those little tiny Game Boy Color cartridges for those games is just incredible. Another
one that's not like graphics showcase, but is impressive just because of how much they crammed in was like Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. They literally got the late Satoru Iwata, the previous president of Nintendo, when he was still a code bro. He went to Game Freak and literally helped them optimize the code to fit Kanto into those little tiny cartridges.
Yeah, what are they, like 2 megabytes or something like that?
It's definitely less than that. I don't know. It might be. I feel like it's like less than that.
That's insane. I mean, I know N64 games, which were the console at the time, were generally 16 or 32 megabits, so I can't imagine. I think Resident Evil 2 is infamously the biggest N64 game, and I think it's 64 megs. So I just love stuff like that. I'll always be bummed that Resident Evil 1 wasn't remade on the Game Boy Color. They had, we've talked about it before, but like a 65% done version. And I mean, it was kind of trash, but like just seeing it on the Game Boy Color is amazing. Or Resident Evil 2 on the Game Boy Advance, they have a version up to the police station. And that's just incredible as well. I would never play them, but I love seeing, and maybe Trevor agrees, maybe he doesn't, but when I see games come in for especially the Game Boy Advance, because the Game Boy Advance just like sold ridiculously well. And you'll just see these franchises that you're like, why is this franchise on the Game Boy Advance? Like Splinter Cell, Tomb Raider, even going as far as to say like Need for Speed, because they make them more like 3D style games. I'm just like, floored by the fact that like Tomb Raider has like 3 games on the Game Boy Advance, and you're like, wait, what? And
Really
they're not like
crazy.
and they're not like 2D. They're like faux 3D isometric, you know, whatever kind of thing, and it's like, wow, just incredible. But I love that. That's my biggest complaint generally about, and I hate using this term, but gamers or people who play video games, is they're so quick to be like, what's the new thing? What's the new thing? What's the new thing? Like, people already, the PS5, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of games.
It doesn't have any games.
That's the
at all.
joke. That's the joke, and it is true. Jokes have merit, and because they're usually true. Or have some truth to them. And people are still like, one PS6, and I'm like, bro, the PS5 doesn't even have any games. Like, why are you so crazy about getting a new, like a PS6 or whatever? It's like, just calm down. But, again, it's only been, 4 years? And usually game systems are getting to their zenith in the 5th, 6th, and 7th year. At least in modern times. So it's like, I know the PS5 has no games, but the games we should be getting soon should be some of the best stuff. I mean, look at Ghost of Tsushima on PS4. It was like the last major Sony-made PS4 release, and it just looks incredible.
It's funny that you
looks
say,
like a PS5 game.
It's funny that you say Ghost of Tsushima today, because did you see what got announced like today?
No.
A sequel to that.
Oh, really?
It's like
okay.
Ghost of... I forget what it's called.
Well, hopefully it comes out in 2025, because Sony needs a W.
Yeah, Sony needs anything. Astrobot was a W, but it didn't actually sell well at all. Because PS5 owners don't buy games.
I mean,
I want to upgrade.
My question would be, did they include it on the subscription service? Because that's Xbox's big
I don't
thing.
think so.
Really? Okay.
They pretty much never put like retail
First-party
games, on that.
Interesting. Yeah, because that's Xbox's big mistake, in my opinion, is just being like, hey, we put $200 million in the Starfield. Do you want to play it on Game Pass for $8.99 a month or whatever it is? It's like, ooh, yikes.
I'm gonna upgrade Tornado Rod. Tornado Rod's really good for stunning enemies when it's upgraded.
I was having that conversation with I forget what customer this week, where they were just like, you know, there's a lot of games I want for the Switch, but they all just don't price drop, and I was like, yep. Nintendo is never going to officially price drop Mario Kart. The only thing that's going to happen is eventually they're going to stop making it new, and then maybe used copies will get a little bit cheaper because there'll be a Mario Kart 9 or whatever out, you know? But they're never going to be like, oh yeah, Mario Kart? Yeah, it's free in a bundle. It's like, very rare that they do that, and if they do that, it's just a DLC code.
And the sad reality is that everyone's like, remember Nintendo Selects? That was awesome, but like, Nintendo only did that because they were struggling and they needed any revenue at all. They definitely don't want to give you, like, Mario 3D World for $20. Like, how much money are they making on that? Barely anything.
The funny thing is, a lot of those Nintendo Select games, like, on the Wii, they did it for instance, Mario Galaxy, Mario Galaxy 2, I think Mario Sluggers. And it's funny, because they did re-release those brand new for $20, but they used in secondary market, all those games are over $20 again, used. Even the... People don't generally super care about the Nintendo Selects, like, as a greatest hits thing, like... I'm sure some people do, but it's not like your vast majority of people will be like, I don't want Mario Galaxy 2 because it's Nintendo Select, you know? So, it's just pretty crazy how that stuff, they literally were like, yeah, here's a re-release for 20, and then like 5 years later, it's like, yep, used copies are 30 again, deal with it.
I do think that Nintendo's getting a little cocky again, because they're doing stuff like, you know, Luigi's Mansion 2 Remaster, which is like, they barely did anything to that game other than make it marginally look better and run better. But they released it for $60 of a game that was originally $40.
Didn't it sell pretty well, though?
It sold pretty well. And it's like, I just don't want to see that become the norm. Like, you know, Switch 2 games are probably going to be $70, but like, $70 3DS remasters, like Link Between Worlds, $70. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that. So, like, there's definitely a fine line to travel. I don't know if I mentioned it on LPs or even in person. I think I might have just mentioned it to customers, or a customer or two. But what Sony's doing with the PS5 Pro, the price is fine with me. But the fact that they're nickel and diming stuff, like, obviously it makes people angry. But the thing that it indicates to me is a company not doing well. Like, almost every time when a company is in trouble, they'll start nickel and diming to, like, an egregious extent. And just as, like, a person interested in the company, it makes me wonder, are you okay, bro? You know what I mean? Like, when Sony's like, hey, PS5 Pro's coming out, it's $600 or whatever, but you gotta buy the stand for $30. Like, I don't even get mad, although I'm not, like, gonna buy it, but I don't even get mad, but I'm just more like, are you okay, bro? You know what I mean? Like, I'm more like, do you need that $30 to, like, exist? And maybe, if you agree with me, let me know below. I understand if you take it a different way, but...
No, I definitely agree.
I mean, you look at GameStop. GameStop still exists, and obviously, I think they were legitimately saved from, like, major bankruptcy implications, whatever, with the stock bro stuff of, you know, Reddit stocks and whatever. Like, I legitimately think that helped them to a ridiculous degree. But over the past, like, 5 to 10 years, they've been just ridiculously nickel and diming their customers to the point where you're like, dude, are you okay? Like, this is like a...
Very clearly not.
Yeah, right. I don't know if you know this, but they have this thing called a gameplay guarantee. You might have seen the stickers on games that get traded in sometimes. Essentially, it's a 1-year warranty for a game. And for, like, a new game, a game that's like 50, 60, 70 bucks, it's $3. So essentially, if you buy this, if you have any problems over the course of the year, you bring it in and they switch it out. It's essentially free money for them. Brian, former GameStop manager, told me the amount, I forget the exact number, but, like, the amount of people that come in and actually exchange it is, like, 5% or less. So it's essentially free money, especially for games. But recently, I've been reading the subreddit, and a lot of GameStops are just automatically adding the $3 gameplay guarantee to, like, every game you buy. It is cheaper. If you buy, like, a $10 game, it's only $1. It's based on the price of the game. But, like, the GameStop upper management, like, the really, really upper people, are, like, super hardcore on their employees, like, every day. How many GPGs you get? How many GPGs you get? How many GPGs? To the point where the employees are, like, so desperate that they're just, you buy a game, and instead of saying, hey, do you want this $3 warranty, they just tack it on. And then if someone comes in and complains and goes, hey, what is this? They go, oh, I'm sorry, it just automatically added on, and just lie about it, right? And that, to me, more than anything, screams, you're in trouble. If, like, that, I understand it's free money, but if that $3 per every customer is, like, that big of a deal to you, you're in trouble.
And I think, so Sony's position is a little bit of the complete opposite of GameStop, where GameStop is just desperate. They need as much revenue as possible because they, like, just are not making money at all. And all these, like, extremely, aggressive, like, nickel and diming practices are, like, turning away people that might have actually liked GameStop. And it's just a downward spiral. But for Sony, they essentially are in, like, a market domination position, because what is their competition? It's like you have Nintendo doing their own thing. They're doing extremely well, but they barely compete with Sony. It's like all the sports games are, like, people just want it on PlayStation, and they have all their exclusives, and all the third-party games don't come out on Switch, like the big AAA titles like Assassin's Creed and stuff. And your other competition is Microsoft, who's just, like, just doing awful. And I think that's a big thing.
But why are they? I guess they're nickel and diming because they think they can at that point. I guess it's just like a level of hubris.
I think they're just doing it because they can.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not your friends.
Right. And that's with any, but yeah, it just that like I said, more than getting mad, I'm just more like, I just think it's such bad optics That's why a company like I just had to go to Costco today, and I very much dislike going to Costco, but it has nothing to do with the management of Costco itself. It's just the fact that it's so busy all the time, no matter when you go, and like that's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like they can't. I mean, they already make you pay for a membership. Imagine if everyone could just walk in. Imagine how ridiculously busy it would be, right? Just unbelievably so, right? But like with Costco, they're so generous with a lot of things. They're really generous with their food court and how cheap it is. They're really generous with their coupons. It gets all the old people like our dad to go in just specifically for these coupons. Or if you look at Amazon, I don't know if anyone out there has had to return something with Amazon, but it's like ridiculously easy. And a lot of times they will just be like, you know what, you just keep the item. Like I remember, I think this was for, this was like probably 5 years ago, so it's probably for Luna, but we, the family was going out to Vegas to visit their grandma, and we ordered a car seat to be sent there because we really didn't feel like lugging a car seat like onto the plane. Not on the actual plane, but you know, we had enough luggage and stuff. And they like messed it up and delivered it the wrong place. So we called and got it worked out, and they were like, all right, we'll send another one. And then like the next day or 2 days later, another one showed up, and we called and we're like, hey, there's a second one here. And they were essentially like, it's okay, you can just keep it. Like, you can send it back if you want, but like, you can just keep it. And I'm like, that ridiculous level of like customer satisfaction going above and beyond is a big reason why people like do Amazon, because they're like, you know, if you have a problem, they're going to be like, all right, just return it, no problems asked, or like 25% of the time be like, just keep it, I don't care. You know what I mean? I know Trev's focusing on the thing, so I'm just. This
is a cool dungeon. So a lot of dungeons in this game are kind of remixed ideas of Link to the Past, where in Link to the Past, you were escorting a girl who ends up being the main like boss of the dungeon, which is pretty cool. But in this one, they play on that and they do it like the Thieves Guild, but they remixed it with you escorting her out of here. And it's a lot more involved, and I think it's quite a cool dungeon.
Yeah, I apologize. I've been talking not about the game, but I have been watching it and been like, that's the way they make you use the wall gimmick has been really cool. Like,
I'll check this out.
Boop. Ooh, that's really cool. Yeah, not only that, but like the fact that they can't and you can, it gives you so many more just really cool options. Having to do all that just to get one thing go down.
Yeah. Give me hearts, bro. Oh yeah. Yeah, so after we're done with playing this, I'm gonna try out Echo's Wisdom. I really hope it's not bad. Or, I hope it's a game that I can enjoy, is probably the better way to say it. Because Tears of the Kingdom is a good game. I did not like it, though. And I really hope that Echo's Wisdom isn't just relying on, like, physics puzzles and doing weird crap like that all the time. I really hope it's not.
I mean, it doesn't... Can you tell him to stay?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's that fancy that it would like do that, you know?
We'll see.
Like I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't seem like it has that budget, you know, comparatively to Tears of the Kingdom.
It's very true.
Rar.
I'm pretty sure I'm doing this in a way that you're not supposed to.
Oh, the fact that they can't get you?
Yeah, and there's like a thing that you're supposed to, words. There's another, bridge they can make by using the painting thing, but I'm not doing it. And it's very cool.
Yeah. Hey! Stand right there. No, move 1 inch. What? NPC.
Another thing about this, picking this dungeon as the first Dark World dungeon to do is a very good idea because not only do you get a Master Ore, which is one half of the part of getting the upgraded sword. You do need 2 of these Master Ores. But the dungeon reward right at the end is you save the guy who has the sand rod. So this is the only dungeon where you get an actual, like, Ravio item. Yeah, there's this thing over here. I think I'm supposed to, like, leave her somewhere else and then go back and use the bridge, but... Screw that.
I'd like to see that character, especially the first time you enter the room, by like just appearing out of nowhere. Like, I like to see them be like, what was that? What the heck just happened? Rar.
These guys have pretty cool AI too. They actively avoid Link, and they go directly for the thief girl. Pretty neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, hearts move. The boss we have to do is not easy. See ya!
Nice, I love that. What happens if you have the girl on there when you hit that?
I don't know.
Nope, go back to the beginning. She's back in the beginning one. See ya. They make that... I wish they would have made it, like, a little tougher. I like the idea. But, like, no matter which of those arrow pieces you got him on, that the enemy was dead. It'd be cool if it set him, like, in, like, a spin.
Man, this is such a cool dungeon. They actually make an escort quest, like, actually, like, cool and interesting. It's like... The 2 games that make escort quests cool is this game and RE4, and that's it in the history of video games. And even in RE4, Ashley's annoying.
That is true. Yeah, if Ashley was, like, a non-voiced character, maybe it... But then I guess obviously the story wouldn't make too much sense. But this girl essentially just being, like, complete NPC, just being like, yep, I follow. I guess Ico too, right? I mean, the whole game is a escort quest.
That's true. But she is... You have to, like... She is so limited in what she can do.
Yeah.
That's obviously the point. But...
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, the upgraded Flame Rod is the best weapon in the game. By a lot. No! Convenient.
Hope you got a key for that, kid.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Is the boss key right there?
Yeah. Obviously, you can't do it without her.
Yeah. Thank goodness this dungeon master was like, I don't want to lose my key. I'll put it right outside the door. It's like putting the key taped to the bottom of the rock that they do in like movies. I don't know if people actually do that in real life.
I don't even know how like people in real life or in this game can get that key ever. It's like, I guess someone else can fuse into the wall.
Well, Link's pretty short, right? Maybe like somebody tall can just climb up there.
This is another boss where they remix the idea of that boss that has the flying heads. You'll see that it's exactly the same. But it has this first form that I think is a lot more cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's such a cool gimmick!
And eventually,
Whee!
yeah, he's like, screw this. shield.
To be honest, fair.
So I'd rather just fall off the ground than take that sword hit. Half a heart versus 4 hearts.
Yeah, pretty simple.
So if he, like, gets me in a... If he traps me like that, it's definitely better just to fall. No! Okay. No! I got hit and I fell!
Yeah, it did count for both.
Because Link has this dumb animation where he, like, it's kind of like a Wild the Coyote-like thing.
Is this from Link to the Past?
Yeah. Kind of. Like, this boss isn't exactly the
No,
same.
but I was thinking of... I know what you're talking about with the flying head. I just forgot that was a Link to the Past boss.
Yeah. I think it's actually in the Thieves'
Oh, okay.
dungeon as well.
Thanks, babe. That boss, the last form is literally kill it before it kills you.
Seriously.
I guess you could take it very slowly, but I feel like you would just lose at that point. Heh.
And it's a cool subversion of you expecting the girl to, you know, be the villain like in like the past, or for her to betray you, but she doesn't.
I also like how you could completely enjoy this game without having played Link to the Past.
Oh, easily, yeah.
A lot of...
In fact, a lot of things, if you take this as a sequel, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Low Rule exists? What happened to Dark World? Oh, I guess Dark World was made by Ganon after he got the Triforce, so I guess Low Rule just existed at the same time. It's not like retconning or anything, but it's like, for people that care about Zelda, the story is kind of dumb, but it's still a good game.
I feel like if it was made nowadays, it would just constantly go, hey, remember X? Remember Y? Just constantly, and it would like almost force you to know everything about the first game, because that like its whole lifeline would be Link to the Past exists, instead of being like, hey, this is a spiritual sequel or an actual sequel or whatever it is, you know. And we take really good ideas from this other game, which is what it should be.
It's not exactly the same, but I was literally thinking about this today while someone was asking me about the Zelda games, but I was thinking, like, does Breath of the Wild, like, does it have any point of existing anymore because Tears of the Kingdom exists and it's just the same game again but bigger and better? I was like, wait, no, it's a terrible starting point. Because Tears of the Kingdom just drops you down in the world and you just interact with all the characters from the first game. And they all, like, I guess they briefly introduce themselves again, but it's mostly like, hey, remember when we did that thing a couple years ago?
It seems like both those games are pretty light on story. Maybe I'm wrong. Not that Zelda's ever been...
It doesn't really matter, but it's... I was just thinking about multiple reasons why Tears of the Kingdom just does not jive with me. And it's the fact that Tears of the Kingdom isn't a game that you should pick up first. It's not like you should ignore Breath of the Wild anymore, because Breath of the Wild is clearly the much better introduction game. But if you play Breath of the Wild and then you go directly into Tears of the Kingdom, which I bet a bunch of people did at this point, and it's like Tears of the Kingdom reuses like 80% of Breath of the Wild. It's like it's just the same game again, but with like it's more mechanically complex and stuff. But like, oh yeah, I have to go to that. Oops. It's more mechanically complex, but it's just so similar. They reuse the same maps, they're all the same NPCs, there's only a few extra characters. So Tears of the Kingdom has like the lose-lose situation of not being a good entry point and also being way too samey of Breath of the Wild.
The Sand Rod.
And I want to buy this immediately. The upgraded Sand Rod makes the Sand Dungeon a million times easier.
And how do you upgrade it?
You have to actually buy it, and then you have to rescue 10 Mai-Mais.
Okay.
The Sand Rod's gimmick is that it raises like a sand pillar that you can walk on, or you can even turn into a portrait on it. But the unupgraded one, like, the pillars only last, like, maybe 10 seconds, but the upgraded one, they stay forever, which makes the boss much easier, and the dungeon less annoying.
Nice. Fire my eyes.
Alright, time to the sand dungeon. So doing the sand dungeon immediately is a good idea, because you get the Titan's Mitt in it, which is the only other upgrade that you get in a dungeon that isn't like an optional thing. And getting the Titan's Mitt lets you get the rest of the Mai, so after you get the Titan's Mitt, you can get all 100. And also it unlocks like a bunch of stuff, and the Titan's Mitt also gives you another Master Ore, which is the thing to upgrade the Master Sword. Without even completing the dungeon, which is so nice.
So I've been seeing a lot of places, both on the internet and real life, that people have been romanticizing the 3DS like more and more, which is like really common with, well, really anything in life. It's like you live through something and you're like, yeah, this kind of isn't great. But then 10 years later, you're like, oh, do you remember this? And I'm just here to say, we're playing the 3DS game, a good 3DS game. But I'm here to say, the 3DS was a pretty weak system for a Nintendo system. Was it a flop? No.
That's why people hated when games came out in 2017, and especially into 2018, and especially 2019. Whenever there was a game on the 3DS in 2019, people lost their minds. People were so mad about the Luigi's Mansion remake on the 3DS. Because it seems so pointless, and it's like, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know, I get it, but I also don't get it.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand what you're saying. And,
But if I wanted a Luigi's Mansion remake, I definitely would want it on the Switch. But you can understand why they might not have wanted done it. Just playing it safe, and also HD game development is just so much more expensive and time-consuming than portable game development.
but yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people, just different threads and different whatever, people are like, why aren't you playing 3DS right now? It's such a great system. And I actually shared it in our one group chat, but someone had just, like, the worst possible opinions ever. And they were, like, naming all these 3DS games that are, like, honestly, like, they're not bad, but they're, like, mid. Someone was like, Super Mario 3D Land, yeah, I'd rather play this than Mario 64. New Super Mario Bros. 2, yeah, I'd rather play this than any other 2D Mario game. I'm like, alright, bud, you can calm down a little bit. Like, there are very few people that are like, oh, New Super Mario Bros. 2, the one with all the coins and everything. Most original, best game. And then they were even like, I don't know what you would call it, grasping at straws or whatever, but they were like, Pokemon Sun and Moon, yeah, I'd rather play that than Scarlet and Violet. I'm like, I guess. But the Switch Pokemon games are pretty universally, like, disliked. So...
yeah, it's choosing between, like...
something that's mid and something that's, like, bad?
Not to do a food analogy, but it's like picking between McDonald's and Burger King. It's like the same crap.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, and like I said, there's some good games on the 3DS. I know people really like Fire Emblem Awakening. Link Between Worlds is a really good game. And I'm not saying something like Super Mario 3D Land or Mario Kart 7 or New Super Mario Bros. 2 are bad games. They were just like soulless. They're just like paint by numbers. Hey, it's a Mario game. You want another 2D Mario game in the New Super Mario Bros. Series? Here you go, kid. And you're like, great, thanks.
And they released New Super Mario Bros. 2 and NU like 6 months apart. It's like, what were they thinking?
Right. So...